What is Light Yagami's secret to power? Is it the Death Note? It's certainly a significant part of it. But as Ryuk once told him, many people had owned Death Notes before, but they weren't able to accomplish much with them. Light, on the other hand, achieved so much power to the point where even the world's strongest nations yielded to him. This means that his power wasn't solely due to the Death Note, but also because he applied multiple laws of power. Follow till the end to understand how Light applied these principles. Law 6. Get attention at all cost. Everything is judged by its appearance. What is unseen counts for nothing. Never let yourself get lost in the crowd then. Stand out. Be conspicuous, at all cost. Make yourself a magnet of attention by appearing larger, more colorful, more mysterious than the bland and timid masses. Some think that Light would have never been suspected if he hadn't revealed his existence. By diversifying the ways he eliminated criminals and by spreading them out over time, he could have avoided raising any suspicion and no one would have attempted to catch him. However, that wasn't his goal. His goal was to get everyone's attention. He wanted people from all around the world to know of his existence. This is why he wrote so many names in a short period of time, all with the same cause of death, a heart attack, making it clear that these deaths were no coincidence and that someone was behind them. He explained to Ryuk, "I've already exhausted the list of the world's major criminals. It's only a matter of time before people figure out that these criminals are being eliminated by someone. I want the world to know of my existence, that there's someone passing righteous judgment on the wicked, so that eventually no one will ever do anything evil again. Then, and only then, the world will start moving in the right direction." Law 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. Trouble can often be traced to a single strong individual. If you allow such people room to operate, others will succumb to their influence. Do not wait for the troubles they cause to multiply. Neutralize their influence by isolating or banishing them. When the Kira investigation started, Light didn't bother going after the police. Instead, he focused entirely on eliminating L. He understood that L is the one leading the investigation and directing the police. Light knew that once L was out of the way, all his problems would be resolved. And that's exactly what happened. Once L was gone, Light gained full control over the police and continued his activities as Kira without facing any challenges. When Nier and the SPK appeared, Light once again ignored the other members of the group and focused exclusively on Nier. Even when some members of the task force started to suspect him, Light wasn't too much bothered by that and continued to focus primarily on Nier. He knows that once Nier is eliminated, dealing with the others would become much easier. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Be wary of friends, they will betray you more quickly, for they are easily aroused to envy. But hire a former enemy and he will be more loyal than a friend, because he has more to prove. In fact, you have more to fear from friends than from enemies. If you have no enemies, find a way to make them. Light applied the second part of this law when he tried to use the police to find L instead of doing it himself. L, analyzing the pattern of when criminals were being eliminated, deduced that Kira was likely a student. Light discovered this information by accessing his father's computer and then deliberately started eliminating criminals every hour to signal to L that he had access to police data. Ryuk asked him about this, saying, "Showing them you have connections to the police makes it easier for them to find you than when they just suspected you were a student." Light explained, "When L discovers that I'm somehow getting confidential information, he'll be obligated to start investigating the police to find the source of the leak. When that happens, it'll only be a matter of time before the police start resenting L. L will investigate the police and they will be investigating L. I'm not the one who's going to find L. I can let the police do that for me. And when they do, that's when I'll eliminate him." Law 12. Use selective honesty, kindness, and generosity to disarm your victim. One sincere and honest move will cover over dozens of dishonest ones. Open-hearted gestures of honesty and generosity bring down the guard of even the most suspicious people. Once your selective honesty opens a hole in their armor, you can deceive and manipulate them at will. After hearing Naomi Misora mention the Kira investigation to the receptionist, Light had to question her to find out what she knows. He began their interaction with an act of kindness, offering to pass her message to his father. Then he complimented her by telling the receptionist, "I feel like I can trust her. You can almost see it in her eyes. She's a wise and careful person." He then told her, "I've got to say, you must be pretty brave to be getting involved in the Kira case like this." Later, when she shared her theory, Light responded, "There's no doubt in my mind your deductive skills are excellent." He continued complimenting her, saying, "I noticed early on that your investigative skills were far beyond those of an amateur. You're very cautious and you seem to have a gift for getting to the heart of the matter. If I could, I'd like to learn from you." Light then invited her to join the task force, saying, "You're more talented than most of the detectives currently on the task force, and L obviously trusted you in the past. I mean, even if you acted as a consultant on this investigation, it would be a great help." He also told her, "You're young and beautiful and you've got your life ahead of you." Law 46. Never appear too perfect. Appearing better than others is always dangerous, but most dangerous of all is to appear to have no faults or weaknesses. It is smart to occasionally display defects and admit to harmless vices in order to deflect envy and appear more human and approachable. After discovering that surveillance cameras and wiretaps were installed in his house, the first thing Light Yagami did was go out and buy a couple of adult magazines. Upon returning to his room, he started going through them. This of course is something that Light Yagami wouldn't normally do, but his goal was to appear like a normal 17-year-old, while also making L and the task force believe he was unaware of the cameras. Interestingly, this act wasn't enough to convince L. When he revealed his identity to Light, L thought to himself, Light Yagami, the likelihood that you are Kira is just under 5%. Even so, something tells me I'm not wrong to suspect you, but you're just too perfect. If you are Kira, I can't think of anything that would put more pressure on you than this little scenario. Law 14. Pose as a friend, work as a spy. Knowing about your rival is critical. Use spies to gather valuable information that will keep you a step ahead. Better still, play the spy yourself. After L revealed himself, Light started to worry, thinking that they might be getting closer to uncovering his identity. But then he thought, this is perfect. On the surface we'll be two friendly classmates, but in reality we'll actually be investigating each other. This is interesting, Ryuga. If it's my friendship you want, I'll gladly accept it. In time I'll earn your trust, and once you've told me what I want to know, there'll be no point keeping you alive. Then I'll eliminate you with my hands if I have to. Later, when L invited Light to join the task force, Light saw this as an opportunity to spy on L while maintaining his guise as a friend. He thought, all along I was trying to find a way to get involved in the investigation, but I never thought that they would actually approach me. Now I'll have access to classified information about the case, which means I can learn more about this other Kira. Law 27. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. People have an overwhelming desire to believe in something. Become the focal point of such desire by offering them a cause, a new faith to follow. As news of criminals dying from heart attacks spread around the world, people quickly realized that someone was behind these incidents. Since people like seeing evildoers get punished for their acts, support for whoever's behind the killings rapidly grew. A lot of websites started popping up everywhere in support of what they started to call Kira. The admiration for Kira went beyond simple support. Some began to worship him. This was exemplified by the creation of a show on Sakura TV called Kira's Kingdom in Kira's honor. The program's host, Demegawa, even requested donations from viewers to construct a temple dedicated to Kira's worship. On one occasion, Light found these devoted followers useful when he needed to force Nier out of the SPK headquarters and expose himself. Light had Misa inform Demegawa of the headquarters location, and Demegawa then urged Kira's followers to attack the building, forcing Nier to come out. Moreover, without this widespread worship of Kira, Light wouldn't have been able to find someone to take over the Death Note when he was unable to use it himself. However, thanks to this devotion, he found Mikami. He explained, the main problem was selecting the next owner. I saw him trying to speak to Kira through the television broadcasts. It was clear he worshipped Kira from the bottom of his heart. He's more than worthy of becoming the hand of Kira. He understands Kira's beliefs and ideals perfectly. Thanks to that, he takes action without needing my orders. Law 5. Guard your reputation with your life. Reputation is the cornerstone of power. Through reputation alone you can intimidate and win. Once it slips, however, you are vulnerable and will be attacked on all sides. Make your reputation unassailable. Always be alert to potential attacks and thwart them before they happen. After the broadcast of the second Kira's message on Sakura TV, police officers rushed to the station's headquarters to stop the transmission, only to be killed at the entrance. Although Light Yagami had eliminated the FBI agents who entered Japan as well as Naomi Misora, he had never publicly done that to innocent individuals. People seeing that happen to innocent officers would undoubtedly damage Kira's reputation. As he watched the broadcast, Light thought, I can't forgive this imposter for the way he's tarnishing Kira's image with his senseless killings. Not to mention if he slips up and gets caught, the Death Note could be discovered, and that I cannot allow. I can't afford to leave him alone for much longer. In another instance, Light got irritated when he saw Demegawa's Kingdom of Kira program. He thought, Demegawa, he's just acting on his own now. If he keeps doing this, he'll end up pushing people away from Kira. I don't need him anymore. Then when Mikami eliminated Demegawa and the others, Light was pleased, thinking, Teru Mikami, it seems I was right to choose him for this. Law 9. Win through your actions, not your arguments. Any momentary triumph you think you have gained through argument is really a Pyrrhic victory. It is much more powerful to get others to agree with you through your actions, without saying a word. Demonstrate, do not explicate. After L informed Light that he was a suspect, Light made several attempts to convince L that he wasn't Kira. In one occasion, he said, I'd like nothing more than to catch Kira so I can prove once and for all that I'm not him. Light's frustration grew. He complained to L saying, Ryuga, what would it take to get you to believe that I'm not Kira? Please, isn't there something? I can't take this anymore. Put yourself in my position. How do you think it feels to be accused of being Kira? Despite Light's efforts, L still considered him the prime suspect. Realizing this, Light changed tactics, deciding to prove his innocence through actions rather than words. After Misa's imprisonment, Light demanded to be confined as well to demonstrate his innocence. When the criminal executions resumed, Elle had to accept that Light couldn't have been responsible since the criminals' identities were revealed while Light was detained. Elle then released both Light and Misa, and although Elle wasn't entirely convinced, but his suspicions had decreased.